Cultural myths are a fact of life. Cultural myths are embedded into the fabric of society, right? The thing about a cultural myth is that you don't know that you're in a cultural myth when you're in a cultural myth. It's reality by consensus. So when you look around in the 21st century, the only medicine that's practiced in your hospital is MD medicine. The only medicine your insurance pays for is MD medicine. The only medicine they teach you about in school is MD medicine. The only medicine they make TV shows about is MD medicine. And whenever any other type of medicine is talked about, it's talked about disparagingly. Oh, those quacks, those naturopaths, they have substandard training and they're dangerous. Those chiropractors, quacks, quacks, I say, quacks. This is an ad hominem argument. Ad hominem arguments do not argue the facts. Ad hominem arguments disparage people. If you're debating somebody, and this happens in politics all the time, politicians don't argue facts, they attempt to slur and slander their competitors. Well, that's exactly what's happened here over the last 100 years. And people look around and they think to themselves, well, you know, the only medicine practiced in my hospital is MD medicine. The only medicine that they study in universities is MD medicine. The only medicine that they give research money to is MD medicine. Therefore, the MDs must be better at what they do than everybody else. This is a logical conclusion. And we therefore conclude that the MDs own the monopoly on the delivery of medicine because their therapeutics are better, because their therapeutics are more scientific, because their therapeutics are more affordable. And nothing could be further from the truth. The medical doctors occupy the number one position in medicine, not because their therapeutics are better, but because they legislated themselves into power. They forced their way into first place, and they have aggressively kept all other medical practitioners off of the playing field. And this all happened before most people in the year 2015 were even born. In the early 1900s, something called the Flexner Report changed the way that medicine is practiced here, not only in the United States, but all around the world. In the early 1900s and the late 1800s, there was a relatively level playing field of medicine and nobody had the upper hand. You had the chiropractors, the naturopaths, the homeopaths, the herbalists, and the MDs. And everybody was vying for territory and patients, and nobody had the upper hand. Then the Carnegies came along. Andrew Carnegie and the Rockefellers followed suit. Andrew Carnegie hired a gentleman called Abraham Flexner to go all around the United States and take an inventory of all of the medical schools and all of the hospitals that practiced allopathic medicine. It took Flexner 5 years to do this. He brought the list back to the Carnegies, infamously referred to as the Flexner Report, and the Carnegies gave millions of dollars of free money to the medical schools and the hospitals which practiced allopathic medicine. They also glad-handed legislators to pass laws which made it illegal to practice medicine unless you were an MD practicing allopathic medicine delivering pharmaceuticals. This was the beginning of the end for all other medical practices. And this is why all other medical practices currently are referred to as alternative. Not because they're substandard, but because the MDs have occupied the first place seat for so long that this is just what we have become used to. Your medical doctor owns the monopoly on the delivery of medicine, and they have for the last 100 years. But it's not because their therapeutics are better. Certainly not. The leading cause of death in the United States, MD-directed medicine. The leading cause of bankruptcy, MD-directed medicine. Our health has been getting worse and worse and worse while we have given ourselves over to the tutelage of the MDs. But because of the cultural myth which holds them up, and because of their monopolistic stranglehold over the delivery of medicine, We have become socialized into believing that their you-know-what doesn't stink and that they can do no wrong. They have become a self-policing, self-regulating industry. And when they fail us, when they harm us, when they bankrupt us, and when they kill us, we give them a pass. It's time, quite frankly, we all collectively woke up, took a look around, gained perspective on the delivery of medicine here, and took a better path, made a better choice. Naturopathic choice, the holistic choice, is a superior choice when it comes to treating chronic disease. We're going to talk about that in the next segment.